Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanam Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Any questions on what we have been studying so far? We were on page 170. Could you please clarify whether my analysis is correct or not, says the judge. Our intellect is gross compared to our vasanas, and hence can only make statements of negation like it's a thoughtless state. So when we categorize vasanas as prarabdha vasanas, sanchita vasanas, and agami, we are categorizing the degree of manifestation, not the vasanas itself. We are categorizing the degree of manifestation. No, what degree of manifestation, Deepraj? We are not categorizing the degree of manifestation. We are categorizing the type of the vasana, the type of the tendency. You're right that the vasana is beyond our comprehension. So how do you categorize something beyond your comprehension? But still, we are categorizing based on whether those types of vasanas can be removed through knowledge or experience or both. We're categorizing like that when we do sanchita and prarabdha. So there are some things about us that we cannot remove through knowledge. You cannot remove through knowledge that you are a man. How is that to go? Or you cannot remove through knowledge that you are Indian. You can't remove it through knowledge. It has to be something that you experience in life. You will go through life based on that experience. So we're sort of categorizing based on that. And agami vasanas are those vasanas which are yet to come, maybe yet to manifest. You're going to do stuff, create more vasanas, all that which is yet to happen. So we are categorizing on that basis, not really on the basis of manifestation. Though in a sense you're right that how can you categorize something you cannot think of? In that sense you're right. But this is, you can even call it, you can sort of take it as this is a categorization of your desires. Because only after they become desires can you categorize. But then agami will not come in that, because that is yet to come. So you're left high and dry there. So therefore, back to categorizing the vasana only. This is the problem with philosophy, that whatever we do, it has to be like in mathematics. You make a rule, then it has to be applied across the board. You can't suddenly say, no, but that part is not involved. You can't do this. And as a math student, at least you have the advantage of understanding this much. Most people don't get it, that you can't just suddenly take something out. Either it's a rule or it's not a rule. So that's why Swamiji's favorite type of student are math students. If you say to him that I'm a math student, immediate admission into the academy, you don't have to say anything else to him. Because at least this much is clear to a math student. So, so when you, otherwise what happens is you give an answer and then somebody says, but then this. No, but then this is the rule, then this is the rule, So, okay, I hope that helps. We have no option but to categorize, even though vasanas cannot be thought of and hence by definition cannot be categorized. We have no option to do this, because if we bring it to desires, then this classification will fall. Okay, so we classify the vasanas, and it's not completely senseless, because obviously we have to know that there is some part of us that is there irrespective of knowledge. Like suppose somebody is a very hot-tempered person. It is quite possible that that's a prarabdha vasana. And that person is going to be, even if he realizes the self, he will be hot-tempered. There's nothing to do with it. So it is a sort of way of understanding ourselves and others, that there is some non-negotiables within our personality and within others as well. So it's not an impractical thing, it's a very practical way of looking at life. And also it gets rid of this thing that, oh, he's self-realized, he's spiritually grown, so he shouldn't do this. There is no such thing. There's no law that a spiritually grown person cannot do X or Y or Z, because we don't know what his prarabdha vasanas are, what is non-negotiable in his personality. Otherwise, we tend to be fairly judgmental about people. We look at Ramana Maharishi and say, oh, he knew so much, shouldn't he have taught us? No, we're judgmental. Why are you judging Ramana Maharishi and making a judgment on whether you should speak or not? That's because of the innocence of not understanding. It's non-negotiable. He's not a talking type. He will not talk. Even if he's dying, he won't talk. Like that. Suppose Manmohan Singh realizes the self, then what do you think will happen? He won't go around giving bhashan. If Modi realizes the self, he will still go around the world giving bhashan. So some things are non-negotiable. Okay? So that's our takeaway from it. So anything else? Now, new device means always problem for me. So please bear with me. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So let's come to what we started last time, which is practical exercises. Now, the first and most important thing to understand about spirituality, it is the most important thing, is the most obvious thing, but it is the thing which is never fully cognized, which is spirituality is a method of looking within. It is not a method of wearing clothes. That's what we do in our spirituality. We put on something. Spirituality is about removing things. There is a very criticized incident in the Bhagavatam. Madeline, if you've never heard of this, you'll be shocked to hear this. You'll be absolutely appalled, because the first time anyone hears of this, they're like, oh, they'll go. The others, Indians, have heard this, so they're not appalled, because anything we've heard before doesn't appall us. But if it's new to you, then it is shocking. Oh my God. So now no Indian is appalled to hear this, but it is appalling really. The story is this, that all the gopis are the cowherd girls. The gopis had gone for a bath in the river. Okay, obviously they derobed themselves. People had gone in the waters, obviously. Then what Krishna comes and does is he steals all their clothes and he doesn't give it back. And he tells them that unless you come out of the water with your hands like this, Sharanagati, I will not give your clothes back. And how is Krishna, the great Krishna, doing this kind of thing? Those poor girls, they're all like, no, I'm coming out of the water. But he said, no, you come out like this and then only I will give. Of course, he's only a 7-year-old boy, but still, he's Krishna himself, he's God himself. So how is it? He's a kid at that point. He's not a grown person. But still, making a girl come out of the water completely without any vestments is like, ooh. So this is the story. Then they have to come out and then he gives them the clothes, and that is one of his leelas, that's his childhood sport. Now, what is all this supposed to mean? Why is he doing all this? Because spirituality is uncovering ourselves. And we uncover ourselves by going Sharanagati. Just a poetical, allegorical way of telling us what this path is about. You have to throw your clothes away. Means you have to throw your persona away. You have to throw the non-you away. That is what spirituality is about. Throw the non-you away. Milind, what is the non-you? One word answer.
The non-divine you?
One word answer.
Ego. Desire.
Desire.
What is the Aman Jyoti? What is the non-you? One word answer. Shilpa, what is the non-you? One word answer.
The individual.
Okay, give me a better answer.
Ego.
Better answer.
I think Janki, individuality.
Better answer.
Vasanas. Vasanas.
Better answer.
Projection.
Better answer.
Omkar, if I'm Omkar
Very
is a
good, Omkar. Finally, you got it. Correct, Omkar. Lots of karma gives you answers. What is the non-you? Now tell me, Milind, what is the non-you?
Varsha.
Very good, Varsha. Milind, what is the non-you?
You.
Yeah, Shilpa, what is the non-you?
Shilpa.
Very good. Madeline, what is the non-you?
Milind.
Yes, correct, Milind. Madeline, what is the non-you? You're muted.
So non-divine.
One word answer. What is the non-you? You heard what the others said. Manoj, what is the non-you?
Manoj.
Very good. Well, this is there now. Let me see. Deepraj, what is the non-you?
Deepraj.
Very good. Madeline, what is the non-you?
Madeline.
Madeline. This is the non-me. Throw it in the bin. Just throw it in the bin. Go Sharanagati instead. See, the butterfly. It sits on a butterfly. It sits on a flower like this, right? No, sorry. It sits on a flower like this. But the moth sits like this. And the moth dies in the flame. But the butterfly goes Sharanagati. And it lives. That's what Christ said. Everybody says the same thing in different ways. Bahuda Gitam in 4th chapter, you heard, right? In Bahuda Gitam, lots of reasons and many songs. They all tell us the same thing, but we are so obdurate that we cannot see. Our spirituality is all about saying, why do you do what you do? That he never mind why he does what he does. You find out why you do what you do. It is called being authentic. Just be authentic to yourself. You have nobody here to reply to. Nobody wants an explanation of what you did. Nobody cares what you did or didn't. But you yourself should know what you did and why you did it and what you hope to get out of doing it. These are questions you alone will answer for yourself. And as you start uncovering, removing all the rubbish, all the junk vasanas you remove. Superficial vasanas you take out. Then you take out little deeper vasanas and deeper vasanas and deeper vasanas. And there you are. Just there you are. All the time our attention is on other people. All the time. This is the very strange thing about the ego. The ego only thinks of itself. And because it only thinks of itself, it seems to think of others. Very strange. It's a strange dichotomy. The most egoistical people think maximum about other people. At least use your ego to think about yourself. No. But that you are like that. You are tamasic. You are hot tempered. You are thing. Never mind who's tamasic and who's hot tempered. How many marriages have broken because spouses say that you are like this. And they are right. But why does the marriage need to break? I tell you, one person was married to a very tamasic person. So tamasic, that person is not doing anything. And the wife is getting very upset, very, very upset. That chap is not just doing anything with his life. And it's a fact, he's not doing anything. And she's getting all worked up. You know, wives get so worked up when their husbands don't do anything. They're getting very worked up, very, very worked up. Both of them have got blood pressure now because they're fighting. And the wife is now going to leave. She's saying that I can't live with this person. He doesn't do anything. We cannot communicate. See the thing, blah, blah, blah. So many things. You know how husband and wives quarrel, right? They don't ever quarrel about any issue in particular. They quarrel about 25 issues at any given point. So therefore, no issue ever gets sorted out. But then you said this, and then you said that, and then you said that. Hey, Papa, do one thing. Deepraj, you're married?
No.
Okay, so Deepraj, remember math when you get married, okay? Stick to one thing. Don't go running all over the place. I don't understand these husbands and wives. They can't talk on one issue. You finish one issue, then you go to another issue. You have your whole life together, fight. You have so many issues, so many fights are possible. Finish one at least first. No. So from he's not doing anything to his parents, to her work, to this, to that, the whole world is covered. And they are now on the verge of divorce. Where is all this stemming from? This whole problem. Oh, they tell me, no communication. It's impossible to communicate with him. It's impossible to communicate with him means what? It means I told him to work, he didn't work. That's what it means. And now you're on the verge of it. Whole thing stemming from only one thing, that
My desires were not fulfilled.
the wife wants the husband to work. That's it. If she gives up her desire that he do anything with his life, they will live happily ever after. But will she give up that desire? No, she won't. And therefore they will go down the way thousands have gone before. Just this much. He doesn't want to do anything with his life. Surely he has a right to that decision. Have I got to take other people's decisions about whether they should do anything with their life? If I think doing something with my life is important, let me do it. No, I'll tell you frankly, this is a problem I had with my husband. He doesn't exercise. And I used to always think that if he went with me for exercise, I would get a lot more done because then it's in the schedule of the family and it'll happen. So I used to nag him. I said, you must exercise. Now, even when he does exercise, he likes to go to play sport, which is not my cup of tea. So this was a little note. Until the most obvious thing occurred to me. If I am so dedicated to doing my exercise, why don't I get some power over myself instead of trying to tell him to exercise? He doesn't want to exercise. He's not going to exercise. Instead of dealing with my own capacity to be regular with my exercise, I'm like, if you were regular, I would be regular. What a stupid way of functioning. This is called immaturity. What a stupid thought. And we do this across the board for all sorts of things. So painfully, I had to teach myself that if I think exercise is important, as has been drilled into my head by my teacher, then it's me who takes responsibility. Now, for many years, we don't have a problem on this issue because it's fine. I do it. And when I do it by myself, I realize, of course, that I was supposed to gain control over myself, not gain control over his actions. And every time we try to gain control over other people's actions, we create problems in this world. Come back, come back, come back. How can I do this better? Not how can you do this better? That is to be the question. And how can I do this more authentically? Authentically is another very important aspect of this. That we are not to jump the gun. All of us are capable of something. All of us are restricted by our current vasanas. That kindness which we are expected to show to the whole world is the kindness that we must have towards these equipments too. Because these equipments are part of this world that we have to be kind to. You cannot force the mind to be something that it is not. You cannot force the intellect to be something it is not. If we are to be kind to the world, then this is part of the world too. Let us be kind. So, learning to be authentic, learning to be the best that we can be without faking it. Because some of us, in our attempt to be better, become hypocritical. So, neither are we resting content with what we are, neither are we hitting so high up that we have become hypocritical, but we can progress with authenticity. I am what I am. And I am just comfortable in my skin wherever I am. I'm okay. I am fine. There's nothing whatever wrong with me. That's where you start from. And from there we work up. This rule is applicable across the board. Even if you want more money, you still do that, right? If you want to have a better body, you still do that. What do? You start with the acceptance of what is. And then you go to where you wish to be. You don't pretend that what is isn't there. That's a silly way to do it. So if you want to, suppose you are doing financial planning. So you start with how much do I have? That's what you start with, right? You don't start with, I want to be a billionaire. Wait, first just stop. Where are you right now? Where is it that you want to go? How are you going to bridge this gap? And accept that I am here. We all want to pretend for some reason, unfathomable reason, that we are spiritually developed. And somehow we are more developed than everybody else around us. It's part of being very judgmental about things. So, in any goal, you start from where you are. Decide what your next step is. Take it. That's what you do in spirituality too. It's not rocket science. You know, spirituality is the only thing in the world that everybody in the world can do. Now, suppose somebody asks us to do math. We can't do it. Deepraj can do math. Suppose you tell somebody to sing. We all can't sing. Some people can sing and some people can't sing. And some people can be teachers, and some people can be carpenters, and some people can be plumbers, but everybody cannot be it. But there's only one thing in this world, that everybody, regardless of who he is, how he is, where he is, or she is, can do spirituality. Isn't that a most wonderful thing? Therefore, if you just look across class, you will see the wide variety. You know, people keep asking me, Omkar always asks me, all these people in publicity and marketing, they ask me, so what is your target audience? Target audience? I don't have. All human beings are my target audience. If they speak English, they are more my target audience. But that's about it. Because you look at class, what do you see similar between all these people? They're all so different, from different countries, from different relations, from different age groups. Some men, some women. I don't know how many genders are there, but whatever, any gender will do, any nationality will do, anything will do. All you require basically is to know English. And that's only for this class. For all the classes, some other language. That's it. It's the only thing in the world the whole world can do. So therefore, each one of us is fine where we are, because we can take the next step forward and reach the ultimate goal. Nothing is required of us. Do we need to be so brilliant? No. Do we need to be a weightlifter? Do we need to be like Bharat, picking up 200 kgs? No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do we need to do anything in particular? Should we have to speak French like Madeline speaks? No. You can be a non-French speaker. What is it that you need? Nothing. Wherever you are, however you are, whoever you are, we can all take the next step forward. All it requires is that
We analyze where we are right now.
we start going within. So simple, right? Like, simplest subject in the world. Bharat, doesn't tamas need a bit of a stick? The opposite person will eventually benefit from a bit of shaking. Yes, that is correct, Bharat. Tamas does need a bit of a stake, but unless you are mature, you will not know where to apply the stick, when to apply the stick, and how to apply the stick. As in the case of women who try to get their husbands to work. One of the most frustrating things for a woman is that her husband doesn't work. Most frustrating thing, right? Because, every woman wants a kartrutvavan husband. Kartrutvavan. How do you translate kartrutvavan? Somebody who's done something. Everybody wants it. All women want that. Huh? What?
One with a sense of doership.
Sense of doership. No, somebody who does, somebody who's an achiever. Suppose you try to get married and you tell the girl the first question, they ask you in the marriage thing, for a boy, kya karta hai? What does he do? That is why academy people, Vedanta people don't find brides easily, because they, what does he do? Nothing he does. Then you won't give your daughter to the boy to get married. So, first question, what does the boy do? Isn't it, Shilpa? Do you have a daughter, Shilpa? No, you don't have a daughter. You have only 2 sons. So when they were asking, the girl side was asking, the first question they will ask, what does the boy do? Because the most important thing for the woman, what does the boy do? She's willing to marry an ugly person. She's even willing to marry a poor person. But what does the boy do? It's the biggest thing. You know, you tell the girl that he's not very well to do, she'll say, oh, how sad. And you say, he's not so good looking. You say, okay, not good looking. He does nothing. Close deal. The deal is ended. So it's the most important thing. So it's a very difficult desire for a woman to get over. And because she can't get over that desire, she blames the man who does nothing. And when she blames him, he blames her. She says something about him, he says something about her, then the communication is broken down. All nonsense words we use, all nonsense words. We're not authentic to ourselves. So, Bharat, a little bit of stick is not taking out our frustration on others. A little bit of stick is knowing what is in the welfare of that person, for that person's sake, saying something. This requires maturity. Until we have that maturity, finger on the lip. Okay, Bharan?
Not sure if I'm okay, but you see the road ahead for the person. I mean, it's a person who doesn't take, elderly person doesn't take medicines, doesn't exercise, doesn't follow a sensible diet. Where is that person going to reach? You can see that, right? I mean, I may not be a very mature person at the moment, but I can see the road ahead for the person.
Always a joker in the pack. None of us can see the road ahead. We just don't know. You don't know what this person has done before. You don't know what is the consequence of what that person is doing today and what that person has done in the past. Yes, if we know that exercising is a good thing and it is something we should encourage, but we don't know. The fact of the matter is we don't know the road ahead. We don't know where the person is going. It is independently true that we should take care of our bodies. But to say that I know what is going to happen, nobody knows this. In fact, the belief that I know what is going to happen is only a cause of agitation. Who knows what will happen? Who knows? You're still young, Bharat. As you make these prophecies of doom, you will see as life progresses, some of them no doubt come true. Some of them don't. We don't know. It will be nothing more than heartburn for you and will do no good to the other person. The best way is only directed by our intellect as to what needs to be done. And that way is the best way because it is not agitating us the least bit. It is not our attachment speaking. It is not our ego speaking. It is entirely about the other person. This is not about me. Bharat, I don't know whether that was of any help or not. Madeline. So the idea is to inspire by being an example. The idea is to just consistently do the right thing. Some people will be inspired. Some people will not be inspired. Those who are inspired because of their vasanas. It has got nothing to do with me. This capacity to remove myself from every equation, or at least what I believe to be myself, from every equation, is spiritual growth. It's not about me. So, we have to do fundraising for the university. Some people say, no, I don't want to do fundraising. And if you don't have funds, you don't have a university. Decide what you want. You want the university or you don't want the university. If you want the university, please raise funds. 90 more lakhs are required if you have to buy the land. No, I can't ask anybody for money. Somehow we make it about ourselves. Why do we make it about ourselves? It's a simple deal. Either you think university should come up or you think university shouldn't come up. If you shouldn't come up, don't work for it. If you think your university should come up, work for it. No funds, I can't ask for money. It's all about me. Even if I raise the funds, I say, I raise so much. It's all about me. When actually it's nothing about me. What is it with me? Either this is something to be done or it's something not to be done. So we don't do anything for any external. It's only, the only reason we work is for dissolution of ego. For me to understand through a gross tool that it's not about me. And work is a gross tool to understand that. When we cannot use the subtle tool, we use the gross one, obviously. We use any tool. It doesn't matter which tool you use. Just forget about yourself. To reach that point, use gross, subtle, whatever. Forget about yourself. So when you start working like this for a cause, you're doing something for some definite purpose. That definite purpose takes up more of the mind space than the individual person. And those who find this inspiring will do this. Those who don't want. Suppose you're with a very tamasic person, he's not going to be inspired, he'll make fun of what you're doing. Rajasic people will look at you and say, oh, you're doing a great thing, we can't do this. Because they're too busy following their own desires. Sattvic people will say, oh, it's a wonderful thing. Let me see how best I can help. So different people react differently. That reaction is based on their vasanas, not on what we are doing. Okay? Bharat, you're okay?
Yes, we'll think about it. Thank you.
So, the worst part where we start looking at other people is you start assessing the guru only. Why are you assessing the poor guru? Let him live his life, you live your life. Do we lack surrender, and that's why we can't remove the thought about myself? We can't remove the thought about myself because it is a thought that we have encouraged in us since eons. From this moment backwards, we have encouraged this thought. I like it. I don't like it. I'm doing this for you. All of it as an I. So you can remove the thought of the self by 3 methods. You can do it by working for a higher cause, karma yoga. You can remove it by love and surrender, bhakti yoga. You can remove it by knowledge and reflection, jnana yoga. You can remove it, you have multiple tools. There's no dearth of tools over here. So if you have to really ask the question, why are we not doing it? We don't use the tools. It's a mountain in front of us. We stand and we stare at that mountain. Ah, big mountain. Why don't you pick up something, anything you have in your hand, and start hitting at that mountain? They're too overwhelmed. Oh my God, such a big mountain. How will we do it? 108 crores for the university. How will we do it? How will we do it? I don't think we can do it. I think we can do it. Can you please just get up and do some work? Okay. Priya, so we have that thought strong because we have invested in that thought. We are unconsciously investing in the thought even now. We don't know it. Every time we say this happened to me, that happened to me, we're investing in that thought. And we're not using the tools to remove the thought. Sometimes we only pretend to be using the tools when we're using the tools for something other than that. Okay, Priya?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so what did we study? Spiritual practice is subjective. Put it on your mirror and keep looking at it. Spiritual practice is subjective. It is about going within. It is not about going outside. And then it's certainly not about discussing whether the teacher is good or bad. The teacher, like everything else, is a tool. Use it as relevant. But your dedication is only one thing, to find that self. If you choose to do with your life anything other than that, know fully well that you will feel a frustration because you will not have done what you are here to do and achieve anything in the world, be anywhere in the world, have the whole world think you're the greatest person, but still you have not achieved the self. Upanishad says, Mahati Vinashti, great loss. A great loss because so much work. If you had put in to get the most important thing, you would have got that. But you chose to get something less important, so you got that. And having got that, you will not feel fulfilled. Then what was the use of all that hard work? Why the production of contrary results? Why the loss of effort? You remember chapter 2? So you do anything else, you will have a production of a contrary result. You will have loss of effort. You, not others saying that, you yourself will feel that I did not get what I wanted. You yourself will feel a sense of incompleteness. So whatever you choose to do in this world, please do it. But not at the cost of the introverted journey. Not at that cost. Never mind about which guru is good, about which is not, whatever. Never mind about all these things. Never mind who about your co-students, your co-sadhaks are good. I like Bharat. He's so sweet and he's so patient. But I don't like that one. She's so nacky. You're not here to be with Bharat and you're not here to be with that one. You're here for the sole purpose of discovering the self within. And for that purpose, a host of tools have been laid out in front of you. Use them. Do not fall in love with him. Do not cling on to anything. They are a means, not the end. So, who will read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Please do.
Practical exercises.
The
Spiritual-
second paragraph.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
Deepta.
Okay, sorry.
The pursuit of enlightenment.
Pursuit of enlightenment does not envisage your enslavement to personalities and a blind following of their deeds and dogmas. You can attain the supreme state by delving deep into your personality layers and recognizing the divine core within. But the order of the day is that self-anointed preachers thrust their beliefs on ignorant people and bring about spiritual pauperism. When religious teachings is thus forced upon people, they, particularly the youth, reject it and take the opposite direction. Thus, none realizes that the truth lies within oneself and fails to pursue it subjectively. The pursuit of enlightenment is done only through self-analysis and going within, but people get attached to the personality layers, which causes all the problems and which keeps us from realizing the self.
And one more point.
The youth reject it because it implies some sort of following of dogmas, and they go the separate way. They reject spirituality altogether.
Yeah, the point before that. There's a twofold error. What are the two errors going on?
People are enslaved, become enslaved to personalities,
Number one, very good. And second error?
and they don't do what they should do, which is going within.
He's already told us we have to go with it. Now he's told us the two errors in that whole process. What are those two errors?
Religious beliefs are forced upon people.
Very good. By self-appointed preachers. Bharat, please underline this line. Self-anointed preachers thrust their beliefs on ignorant people. Now you see why we are not supposed to tell anyone. We are not, what should I say? We are not holders of other people's conscience, and we are not meant to tell anybody what to do. Not those closest to us, not those we care about, not the world. It's not our business. I have only one business, which is physician, heal thyself. There's a doctor's motto, na? Physician, heal thyself. So, I'm just showing you this, Bharat, so that you know it comes from authoritative source, not just something that I came up with. Okay, so two errors on the spiritual path. First error on the spiritual path is that we, as sadhaks, go and enslave ourselves to personality. Error number one. Error number two, these personalities love this enslavement. So they're made for each other. It's a made in heaven couple. There's a whole bunch of people who wish to enslave themselves, and there are a few people who wish to enslave others, and they are all having a merry time. And how are they having a merry time? They can say, I have 10,000 followers, I have 50,000 followers. Good, Varsha, even I tell myself the same thing. We are so concerned with number of people following us, when the whole purpose of having a guru is learning how not to follow. That's the whole purpose of having a guru. The guru takes you within. Who are you following? Why are you following? You don't say, I'm following mathematics. What is there to follow? Something is either true or it is not true. If it is true, live your life by that truth. Veritas wants liberty. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. Did it say the human being will set you free? Your teacher will set you free? Kabira says, Guru Gobind dono khade kaake lage paam. Balihari Guru aapne chin Govind diyo mulai. The Guru and God are standing in front of you. Whose feet will you touch? Guru or Gobind? God or the teacher? This teacher. Why teacher? It's the tool that took me there. Ram se bada Ram ka naam. Why? Greater than Ram is God. Is Ram Naam. Ram Naam is the name of the Lord. Why name of Lord is greater than the Lord? Because the name of the Lord takes you to the Lord. What does the Lord do? He is waiting quietly for whenever you arrive. But the name of the Lord will take you there. But if you say this train is greater than the destination, the train is greater than the destination because it takes you to the destination. If you stay in the train, how is it greater? So who and what are you following? Who and what are you getting enslaved to? A tool? Imagine a carpenter sits in front of, with all his tools laid out in front of him, and he prays to those tools every day. Oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful. Will his table ever get made? He is busy praying to the tools. Pick up those tools, use them, and make the table. So, philosophically, you can say better than the table are the tools. Correct? Because the tools will give you that table. The table is not there. But that tool is great only to the extent you use it. If you don't use it, then what is the use? You know, it is traditional in this country to take a Bhagavad Gita and pray to it. No, they wrap it up in this red cloth and they pray to it. I don't know what to think of that. A book is meant to be read. Open it and read it, please, if you expect it to benefit you. It's not giving out vibrations so that you will become great. You please study it. If it be true that that book makes you so great, then the printing press where they print that book, everybody should be a Mahatma. Because they're constantly in the presence of the book. A tool is only as good as your use of it. Suppose I take Sachin Tendulkar's bat and I go to bat. Will I score what he scores? Sachin's bat. Wow, I'd love to have Sachin's bat. Arey Baba, even if I have Sachin's bat, I will not get Sachin's score. It's only as good as my use of it. So, the Guru is like a signpost, a tool to take you somewhere. If you fall in love with that tool, if you start worshipping that tool, if you say, oh, how great my Guru is, you don't go anywhere. You have to actually execute. You have to actually do some stuff here. So, two types of errors in this whole pursuit of the spiritual path. One is we fall in love with the Guru. The second is the Guru falls in love with us. Both ways. There's a double problem. The greatest attachment is that what the Guru has to the students, more than what the students have to the Guru. It's a terrible, terrible state of affairs. And when you're attached to your students, okay, I don't know how many of you are going to grow up to become teachers of the subject, but please remember that The Guru's role is of a signpost. The Guru's role is not to issue instructions. The signpost merely says, there is Lonavala. It does not tell you whether to go to Lonavala or not. That's your business. The signpost will show you where is Paris. Madeline, are you in Paris? Where are you? Paris? You're muted.
I'm now in Greece.
Oh, now in Greece. Oh, wow. You and Omkar will be best friends because Omkar is in love with Greece.
Welcome.
So, Greece. So there's a signpost saying that is Paris. And then that signpost is doing nothing. It's just showing you that's the road to Paris. Now, whether you wish to go to Paris or you don't wish to go to Paris, that's your business. So, the teachers who are ignorant tell their students what to do. And when they tell their students what to do, those students, especially younger students, balk at it. This is true not only for spiritual students, all students. In our families, we seem to believe we are the teachers and everybody in my family is my student. So we start telling everybody what to do. And they balk at it. They will not listen to us. Rightly so. Because just as I have the right to live my life by what I believe is right, so too does every human being have this right. To live their life as they believe right. I can protect myself from the nonsense that I think people are doing, but I cannot go hold their hand. Suppose I have a spouse who's a spendthrift and he just wastes money. I can protect myself from that spendthrift behavior, but I cannot stop that person from being a spendthrift. That is their call. What do you want to say, Monisha?
No, just a little anecdote. When I'd first come back to India, I'd worked in an NGO for slum children for 3 years. And I'd got very, very close to a young girl called Alia, who was 13 years old, who was, had come straight from the village and was superbly intelligent and great on the computer. So I was going back to Zimbabwe, where I lived, after working here for a year. First my summer vacation. And I told Sanghamitra, my boss, and I said, I'm going to go to NIIT. I am going to get her the best, because obviously we were in a little room teaching under a tin roof. So she couldn't get the best. And she was a natural computer genius. So I remember going to NIIT and saying, no, I am going to sit and try and get her into a program so her life's made. I came back from Zimbabwe and I was told that Alia's gone to the village. She's turned 13, she's got her periods, and she's going to get married. I was livid. She was a family of, I think, 6 children, and the father had come in here to work in probably, construction of roads as a laborer. And I remember being absolutely livid. And I said, how can you go get this child married at this young age? And I told the lady who ran the NGO, said, I'm going to go to her house. I'm going to go talk to her father. I'm going to get her back. I'm getting her enrolled. It was all about what I had done for her future that I had thought would be fantastic. And she would have this path. And instead, the father just, he told me, he said, you're her teacher. You've been teaching her for the past 3 years, but she has to get married. This is part of our tradition. And the owner of the NGO, she told me something at that stage which made no sense. And she says, Manisha, your role is to come, to educate, to teach, to do what you have to do as a teacher. what they do with the family, what their situation is, whether she gets married, whether it's illegal, whether whatever, that is not your path. Your path is to come, to teach, and let everybody do whatever they have to do. And I was still angry for a long time. I don't know whether I was angry because of what I had done, thinking that I would, put her into an IIT and get her going, or whether it was me, or whether I was doing it for her. But she's probably, I don't know, a mother of many children by now. This happened 7-8 years ago. So I was just reflecting on that story when you were talking to me now. That was just a little incident.
The thing is that it is not that we should encourage or not try to prevent illegal and things like this. It is that you have to decide for yourself what you're doing. Okay, either you're taking up that cause or you're not taking up that cause. If you are taking up that cause, then you have to see it through to the very end. And if you're not taking up that cause, then you're not taking it up. That's it. Because there'll always be something around us that needs correction. We can't tackle everything. We have to decide which one we are going to do. And as far as this young lady is concerned, even if she does go ahead and get married, maybe there's still a chance out by saying that, okay, let her get married, but let her study also. So there are various ways of thinking out of the box as well in these kind of situations. It's terrible for a 13-year-old to be married. And it would be great to stop that if possible. And if not possible, then next best thing, let her study in spite of her marriage. So there are the various ways of dealing with it, but we have to decide whether we're taking up that thing or not. Each one of us have to take up in our life something that will be a contribution to this world. But then having taken up that one thing, then we stick. Okay, so that's it for today.